Alright guys, hey, I got a massage today, so I'm feeling pretty good, and I didn't do my hair yet, but anyway, it doesn't really matter. We are going to quilt this. So we just finished this block over the weekend. Now, where did my other one go? Anyway. This one. So we did, whoops. Oh my gosh. Here we go. We finished that block over the weekend. So we finished these two blocks. However, I'm not going to quilt this one today, but this video will be about quilting. So we're going to make the quilt sandwich. So if you want to learn how to do that, stick with me and we'll get it done today. Sweet. So welcome back to my channel. I'm the Hanley of Creating Hanley, and thanks for quilting along on our quilt along. So a year full of stars quilt, and this is my very unique heart in a star quilt. Whoops. That's my very unique heart in a star quilt. I haven't seen that anywhere before, so I'm going to claim it as mine, unless somebody steps up and says, no, that's mine. Anyway, we are going to quilt this today, so this video should be relatively short as compared to the other ones, but this is a quilt along, so it's real time, and we quilt as we go. So that's what this is about. So we created this top piece. So this is our top. It's called a flimsy sometimes. And then our batting, just 100% natural cotton batting. And then our backing. So I'm just using one piece of fabric, and I cut it just a little bit bigger than the batting. And the batting is cut a little bit bigger than the block. Okay, so the block is at about 12.5 inches square. So the batting is a little bit bigger than that, maybe 13 inches. And then the back, you want about the same size or even a little bit bigger than that, okay? So, I'm going to show you the fabric. I'm just going to pick pink. Not the fabric, the thread. And this will go on the front. And you can see it kind of shows up on the big, and then it disappears. It shows up on the red, but then it disappears on the white. And then for the, my hair's crazy. And then for the bobbin thread, I'm just opening up my bobbin kit, and I'm gonna pick this pink for the back. And the back is a different fabric and a different type of red than the front. So I'm gonna pick this pink. And these colors are more like salmon-ish, so I think this will work well with the back, okay? Now, I had a request to show how to thread the machine and the bobbin. So I'm actually not going to wind the bobbin, but this channel is for beginners, but you should probably already know how to use your machine. However, I did have a request for that in another video, so I'm just going to show it right here how to do that. So I'm going to turn this camera around and point it to the machine. Now, I have a Brother SE625. So this only works on Brother SE625. If you have a different machine, it may be completely different, especially the old singers or such. Juki's, Janome, they're probably all very similar, but they might have like one or two things that are a little bit different. So I cannot speak for all the machines out there, but somebody asked me, and so I'm going to do it. Here we go. Spin this camera around. Now, I don't know if this is going to be a good picture or not. I can't really zoom in because of my camera. My laptop is on. There we go. Maybe this will work. Alright, so can you guys see that? I hope you can. I hope it comes in clear. So I already have a bobbin in here. I'm just going to take that out. And now, when you're threading for the bobbin, you want to make sure, at least on this machine, that the thread unwinds to the left and it goes to the front. So then you're going to just slide that in, and then there's a little, like a little catch right here. You want to slide that thread underneath this catch. I'm sure it has a name, but I don't know it. And then, trying to not get my hand in the way. And then you just follow this groove around, and right here at the edge, I don't even know if you guys can see that. There is a little knife, a little cutter. You just slide that off, and you've cut the edge of the thread, so now that thread has a sharp end. And then you just place this back in place, so this little piece goes under there, locks down, and then you just press that in, and that is pressed in place. Okay, now to thread the machine, I have thread in here already. Now I'm going to take it out. Now, some hardcore quilters will say never do that, never take that out like that. You always want to cut it and then draw it through. Cut it up here and then draw it through, because it will create threads and it can distort the machine. But anyway, so what I'm doing is I'm taking my thread and I'm hanging the string on the outside of that. So I don't know how you can see that. So here's the front. On the back side is where the thread hangs down. And now I'm going to take this pin, and then I place that onto, and then I put the stay in place, and now my thread comes from that to the outside. And now I have all these little thingies that I'm going to put this through. So on my machine, it actually gives me step 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, all the way down to 7. So then I take this underneath here, slide it down through this slot right here, wrap it around. It says 3, bring it up to 4. It wraps in through, I don't know if you can see that thing inside there. It wraps, there's a little loop in there. It wraps around, and it goes down to 5, and then it comes down through this little catch right here. This is 6, and then 7. I have to move this camera, guys, out of the way. And then 7, I don't know if you can see that, but 7 is directly through the needle. Oh, maybe you can't see that. But one thing that I do is I cut the edge kind of an angle to make sure it's a little sharp, and then you just thread that right through the eye of the needle. And my hand's in the way the whole time. I do apologize. So working with this camera right in my way is kind of hard. And then so it's at the back of the needle. And then I slide it through. And then there's, under my presser foot, there's a little groove right here. So I just take the thread under the presser foot and take it to the back. You want to have enough thread in the back that it hangs out, and so that it doesn't fall out through the eye of the needle. And then if you want, you can press your presser foot down, release that down, put a little test fabric under there, and then just get it going so that you know it starts. Okay? Now I'm going to cut it automatically. It cuts off, and now I know it's good to go. Okay? So I don't know who that helps. Hopefully somebody. But I'm sure those of you who have been quilting a really long time will tell me what I did wrong, and make some comments down below. Okay, so anyway, let's get back to our quilt. So now that I have the pink thread in the bobbin and at the top, so I have the pink up here and then pink in the bobbin, I'm just going to start quilting this piece. Now, I have all kinds of pins in here to stay everything together so to keep the sandwich in place, because I've been moving this around a lot. I don't want it to distort. So now I'm able to put it under the needle, and we can take the pins out, maybe a little bit at a time, and do our quilting. So I'm going to flip the camera down so you can see. No more me. Let's go to work. Okay. So maybe I can put the camera like this. Is that okay for you guys? Just, I don't know. Maybe like this. Maybe you can see it like that a little bit better. Okay. So what I'm going to do for mine, and you can do yours however you want to. I'm probably just going to go follow straight down, make straight lines. Like, so down this block and then crisscross, like a tic-tac-toe board. So you put your needle however you want to, and then wherever the seams are, I'm going to sew just on the outside of that. So it's almost stitch in a ditch, just on the outside. So I lock that seam down. Okay, so I'm going to take some of these pins out that might be in my way first, and then that clears the path so I can just go right from the top. And I start off of the fabric, and then you can go slow or you can go as fast as you want. Now remember, when you come to those really tough spots, these bulky areas where all these corners meet, it might be a little bit thick. Well, it will be thick through there. So you might want to take a little bit of extra time and go slow through there. Don't speed through. You may break a needle, or you might catch something, or it might just like stay stuck here and make like 16 thread, passes right here and not move. So you just want to be careful. And then my machine, I'm not using a pedal. My machine, let me show you up here. My machine has a speed variability right here, so I just go down to the left for really slow and then right for really fast. So I'm just using this, and I really like this. This is my start and stop, and then this is reverse, and this is cut the thread. So somebody had a question about that, how I use the foot pedal, and I actually don't use a foot pedal. I just use these buttons right up here. So it makes it a little bit easier, for me at least. Okay, so let's just keep going. So right when you get to those tough spots, take it a little bit slower if you want. And then right when you get off to the edge, I just go all the way out to the side. I sew right off the edge, and you can see, maybe you can see, I just sew right off the edge. Okay, so that locks everything down in place, and you can see up here, I just started off and then sewed in. So just a straight line. Okay, now I did cut the thread, so I'm going to, and you know what, guys? Here's a problem. Look at this. Can you see how this thread pulled away? It did not catch. So there's a couple things I can do. If I really want to, because this is not tacked down yet, if I really want to, I can come back under here and sew it. And I can see right here, you see my finger in there? I can see where that is, okay? So I can catch this, and it looks like I tried to do that a couple times. So this was a problem area. So, you know what I'm going to do? Because I have not sewed this down yet, I'm just going to put a couple stitches in here right now. So I'm going to take some of these pins out. So it's times like this where if you find something, you have the freedom to fix it before you put it into a quilt, a finished quilt product. And then that way you know you did everything that you could to make it a good, solidly sewn project. I'm just going to put one little back stitch in there to stay stitch it. Alright. And then that's it. That should lock it in place. So now I don't have just a little bit, but you know what? Because I know that, I'm going to maybe zigzag over this spot or something when I do my quilt over it. So I'm going to do that actually right now. So because I took these pins out, I want to make sure that I flatten this out again so it's flat on both the front and the back. And now because I know it's right here, I'm going to maybe zigzag over that. So we're going to start from here and right now. So I know to take care of this right now. So start off with the fabric, and then when I come up here, actually I'm going to just take this through because I have a good rhythm going here. I just want to follow this edge straight up. And then take it off. And now I'm going to come back here and I'm going to zigzag that. So can you see what I'm doing? I'm starting a little bit down. And I know it's not the best video, and I've said this over and over again. If somebody can help me figure out how to get my camera to talk to my computer, or my phone to talk to my computer, that would be fantastic. So I'm just going to make a zigzag stitch right here and back stitch it to lock it down really well. And then I'm going to back stitch the whole thing just to make sure everything's locked down. And that right there makes this piece kind of scrappy. But you know what? It was wonky anyway, so I'm okay with that. Alright, now I'm gonna take that out. And you can see I put like a lot of thread in there. You can see that. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut this. And you know what? This is my piece, so I really am okay with that. And you can do whatever you want with your piece. With your fabric and your block, you can do whatever you want. But I'm okay with that. Alright, so now I'm going to go down this side. Start off, whoops. Oh, and I didn't switch it. So fortunately I started off of the fabric. And because I didn't put it back to a straight stitch, it started stitching regularly. Alright, so now it started stitching in a zigzag, and I did not want the zigzag pattern. Take your pins out. And then sew right off the edge. Fantastic. Alright, now I'm going to take it around to the other side. And also, here's a little tip, guys. When you take one stripe down, one sew down, you want to flip your piece around to the other side so that it doesn't go off. When you keep sewing the same way, it kind of goes crooked. So when you spin it around, it evens out the fabric. If that makes any sense. I don't know, maybe I didn't explain that correctly, but hopefully that made sense. So, for example, if you start sewing down from the top every time, it'll get wonky. So, sew down from the top one time, and then sew up from the bottom another time, and then sew down from the top the next time, and then sew up from the bottom another time. Does that make, hopefully that makes sense now. Okay, so can you see how I created those squares? So, square, I just followed those blocks, okay? Now, how you do your pattern from here is up to you. You can do like a crisscross all the way through. You can do straight if you want to stay that. You can follow every diagonal if you wanted to, and I think I'm going to do that actually. I'm going to follow every diagonal. So I'm putting my pressure foot edge right along the sew seam edge, and I'm just following that straight down, imaginary line right there until it catches this side, and then I just keep following that down. And then again, sew straight off the edge. And so I'm going to continue to do this the whole way around. However you want to do it, guys, that's up to you. Actually, I'm going to start this way. Here we go. Okay. So if you wanted to create hearts, or if you wanted to do, or you can do like a free quilt kind of a thing, you are free to do that. However you want to quilt it right now, it's your creative quilt. So, and if you wanted to, which I might do that, I might like draw a heart here and then just stitch along the heart. In fact, let's see if I can do something real quick. Grab a pencil here. So I'm just going to freehand. Maybe I'm just going to freehand a heart. Like, I should probably use a dry erase marker or something along those lines. Like a friction pen. I was not prepared for this, so I could use my air and water soluble ink, and maybe I'll just, like at a diagonal, that's what I'll do at a diagonal. I'll draw a heart. Alright, so like this. Let me get that in here. Can you see that very lightly drawn line? So I'm going to sew right along that line. Okay. And I'm going to start at the point here. Now, the one thing that I should probably keep in mind is how far away this edge is to this edge, and this edge is to the sides. So this is a pretty cool measuring gauge too, if you guys have never seen this before. One of my clients gave this to me, and it is super handy. I love it. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. So this is a 1/2 inch away. So that's enough space. So if I do a 1/4 inch seam allowance along here, that'll definitely be off the 1/4 inch. Now this, just a little shy of the 1/2 inch mark. So it's bigger than a 1/4 inch, but just barely. So I might redraw this line so it's a little bit further away. So I might do, so this is good, and then maybe like that. Okay, can you see that's darker now? Can you see that line, that heart? Yeah, you can. Great. I'm going to follow that. Okay. And I'm going to start at the point of the heart. And I'm going to line up my needle, and I'm going to hand place it where I want to start. And then I'm going to go slow, back stitch. And I'm going to go slow, and I'm going to follow this line. And I know it's super slow, guys, but I want to make sure I follow this line. And I'm going to stop here so I can turn the fabric. And you can inch it along as you need to. Stitch, turn, stitch, turn. If you need to, stitch, turn. If you can't turn it as you're sewing, then just stop. Stitch and stop. No biggie. Like, it's not, you know, I mean, it is midnight right now, but I was going to say, you're not in any hurry, but maybe you do want to go to bed right now. I don't know. All right, so now we're at the bottom point of that heart. I'm going to spin this around. Actually, I'm going to do one more. And then bring it up from there. Again, stop. I'm going to turn it around. I'm not going to follow the outer line that I had drawn the first time. I'm going to follow this inner line. So make sure if you redraw, like if you draw something on here, that you don't follow the incorrect line. So you want to make sure that if you redraw something, that you follow the exact line that you wanted to follow. Now, this is your quilt, so, you know, I mean, maybe it'll be a giveaway at the end of the year. Maybe you'll try to sell it. I don't know, whatever, but it's up to you. It's your creation, so however you want to make your quilt is yours. Okay, now I'm coming up to the point where I started, so I want to make sure that these two threads meet, and I'm going to back stitch to lock it in place. Fantastic. And then cut. And then there we go. There's my heart. Sewn heart. And then on the back, you can see. Maybe you can't see. It's right here. Okay. So I'm going to cut off these extra threads from the top. And then from the back as well. Okay, perfect. Now, because this is air and water soluble, it should be air soluble, but I'm just gonna put some water on it and erase it anyway. Now, the thing with these disappearing inks is that sometimes if you put hot water on, it'll lock the ink down. So you probably don't want to do that unless you really wanted the ink to show. But there we go, guys. Or not hot water, an iron, a hot iron. If you put a hot iron on those inks, they'll lock it in place. There, see? The inks disappeared and now it's just quilted on, a little heart in your background fabric. So if you wanted to, you can do that in all 4 sections, okay? All right, but I'm not going to do that on camera because you really don't need to see that. But basically, now you've created your quilted heart. And then your pattern shows up on the back as well, see? And then all along here, so I did that zigzag stitch right here. It shows up right there. And it's just like a zigzag stitch, which has no meaning. But maybe I'll put a zigzag stitch in another place just for giggles, just because. So, yeah. All right. So that is our quilted block for February. So this is called a double friendship, and I call it a heart and a star. A heart and a double friendship star. So that is our quilt for, or I should say our quilt block for February of 2023. So thanks for following along on this video, and I will do this one in another, and I'll do that video in another time, in another video soon to come, okay? So I'm just cutting these strings off. All right, now remember, don't trim this block up yet. We will wait to the very end when we will trim them all the same size. So once we get all of our blocks for the year done, we will trim them all to the same size, and then we'll sash and we'll put them together. And then because it's pre-quilted, each block is pre-quilted, once we sash and bind, your quilt will be done for the year. So isn't that awesome, guys? I love it. All right, thanks for following along today in today's video. I appreciate it. much love and sending gratitude to all of you who have liked and subscribed my video. I truly appreciate all of your support. Make some comments. Let me know what you want to see in the future. I am going to do a second heart for February. In fact, I have it done right here. So I told you we did this is called a double friendship, right? And this, woo! Is a friendship heart. So of course I still did it in Valentine's fabric. So we're going to do, so you can see the friendship heart is just 1 star point. The double friendship heart is 2 star points. Okay? So you see the difference there. Yeah. So we're going to do that video in February too. So you will see like what the original friendship star heart is, or friendship star is. And I only used heart fabric. I did not create that heart like I did in the double friendship. So that block will be super easy to put together. And of course I did a twist to it too. So there's something a little bit different there. But anyway, thanks for liking and subscribing. Love you guys. Thanks for being here with me and creating Hanley. And I'll see you next time. Have a great quilt day, and we'll see you soon. Okay, bye.